listen and let my light shine bright in the kingdom for others to see. No more ways to be denied, no more reasons not to shine. Free in the kingdom to be me. Free in the world and all will see that the God in me is powerful indeed. And the power to get wealth is working in me. I am called to be a curse breaker, Abraham's seed. Poverty must bow to the anointing and free me indeed. No more ways to be denied, no more reasons not to shine. Free in the kingdom to be me. Free in the world and all will see that the God in me is powerful indeed.
Thanks for joining me on today, and welcome to the Kingdom Wealth Warriors channel, where we equip kingdom-minded believers with spiritual truths to walk in divine authority, wisdom, and wealth. My name is Deb Howard, your abundant life coach, and today we're going to talk about something that many people pray for, but few people prepare for: promotion, increase, and favor. Let me say this as plainly as I can. What you do after the blessing comes is just as important as what you did before. Stewarding success is a different test than stewarding struggle. Oh, let me say that one more time. Stewarding success is a different test than stewarding struggle. Listen, let's get into it, because favor is going to reveal your stewardship. In Proverbs 10 and 22, it says, "The blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he adds no sorrow with it." I love that scripture. The blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he adds no sorrow. But let's talk about this for a minute. Favor, right? Favor. Oh, it's the blessing of the Lord, right? We can kind of interchange those words. The favor of the Lord makes one rich, right? Because the blessing is God's favor on our life. Listen, promotion is not just a reward. It's a test. It's a test. How you handle increase reveals the truth of your character. This is why it's so important for us to do the inner work. Many times we think that money will solve all our problems, when in fact what money does is reveal all our problems. Okay? It brings to the surface those character flaws, those issues, right, that we have, whether it's with our ego, with trauma, with hurt, with whatever. Many times money reveals those things, and it becomes a real test of our character. Yeah, it's not usually something that's going to solve all our problems. What really happens is you get a new set of problems. And so before we receive that blessing that makes us rich, or that promotion that makes us rich, we must understand that it is a test. It's a test. God promotes according to stewardship and not status. Favor follows faithfulness in the small things. And so what we want to do is be faithful in the small things. Are you faithful with the car, with the house that you have right now? Consistently maintaining it, or keeping it clean, or making sure that things are taken care of with what you have right now. Because favor follows faithfulness. You know, you'll hear a lot of people say favor ain't fair. I don't know, it might be true, but I will also submit to you that favor follows faithfulness. Those who are trustworthy, those who manage the small things. Don't let the little foxes get to them. That are consistent. And I'm not talking about consistent on social media. That might be part of it, depending on what your calling is. But consistency in your everyday life, in how you treat people, in how you maintain your relationship with the Lord, and how you manage what you have, your resources, your time, your talent, all the things. Favor follows faithfulness, right? In the small things. So increase, for us to get increase, it requires preparation. It requires us even now to begin to follow these principles if we're not already. Increase without preparation is going to lead to mismanagement. Just ask the prodigal son, right? He asked his daddy for everything. Daddy gave him everything. He come up sleeping with the pigs. Now, we don't even have to look at the Bible. We can just look at many present day examples that we have. We all have heard stories of people that have come into money, sometimes through the lottery. And it's pretty much a fact that many lottery winners are broke within 5 to 10 years. We see it with celebrities. We all have heard of various celebrities, maybe some of our favorite celebrities that had millions of dollars and squandered it off. We know, those of you who are old enough recall that Michael Jackson, even though he had a lot of assets, he was cash poor before he died, okay, at his death. And so we have to be able, even now, to learn how to manage and be faithful with what we have. Because if we don't prepare, if we don't develop the skill set, the character to manage what we have, then when increase comes, it's going to lead to mismanagement. The weight of favor can crush you if you don't have the structure to carry it. Let's think about that. And let's go back to the phrase that many of us like to say and have heard, that favor ain't fair. you know, Favor ain't fair. Don't blame me that I'm God's favorite child. Well, don't forget, God's favorite people got crucified. Jesus got crucified. I know he was his favorite. John got crucified, or I shouldn't say crucified, but he got killed in a very awful way, okay, after Jesus' death, and he was definitely Jesus' favorite. I'm just giving you a couple examples because I want you to see that favor is a responsibility, okay? It's not just a title that we wear, right? It's a responsibility, and it requires us then to steward it, right? To steward it, right? So the weight of favor can crush you if you're not ready to carry it. Think about someone who buys a home before they're ready. I know I've known people like this that were able to purchase a home, but they hadn't quite prepared adequately for the responsibility. The blessing of buying a home, of having your own home, can quickly become a curse of responsibility, of unexpected expenses, because of not being prepared. Now, I'm not trying to discourage you from buying a house. That's just an example of how what we consider to be a blessing can quickly turn into a weight that can crush us if we don't have the structure, if we don't have the systems in place to carry it. So God won't promote you just to watch you fall. He tests before he trusts. And so some of you may be asking, I don't understand why I'm not moving, why God is not allowing me to blossom, to grow, to blow up, whatever it is that your expectation is, because he tests you before he can trust you. And so you have to ask yourself, am I passing the test that I'm in right now? How am I preparing for what I'm asking God to bless me with? Am I understanding that my favor, My access is a responsibility. It's not a title. It's not something that others should wish to be like me for. Because remember, we talked about in our last episode that our gifts and all these things that God give us is to serve others. So can I submit to you that even your favor is there to help and bless others? I know. So our mindship moment is increase is an invitation to demonstrate maturity. No, favor isn't fair. Maybe it isn't. I don't know if it is or not, but I can tell you that it reveals stewardship. That's what favor does. And it reveals our responsibility, our commitment to doing what God has called us to do. All right. And so, how do we prepare for promotion before it arrives? Genesis 41 talks about Joseph. We talked about Joseph in past episodes. Joseph is promoted to second in command. But remember, Joseph was faithful in the pit. Remember the pit his brothers threw him in? He was faithful in the prison when he was falsely accused and put in prison. And he was faithful in Potiphar's house long before Pharaoh's house. He was faithful to Potiphar. Remember, it was Potiphar's wife who got him thrown in prison. So I want you to understand, don't wait for promotion to be excellent. I know that's a word right there. Joseph was excellent in all the places he served. Don't wait until you get what you want to be who you want to be. Did you get that? Don't wait, right? Don't wait. Don't wait. Become who you want to be now before you get what you want. Become an excellent person. Become someone who walks in excellence. I didn't say perfection. There's a difference. Don't wait for that promotion. Excellence attracts elevation. Even in the prison, because Joseph walked in excellence. He continued to serve. He served whoever was there. He had a gift. He served the baker and I forgot the other guy. Oh, the Potiphar's second hand, the cupbearer. I had to think about that. The cupbearer and the baker. He served them, right? They had a dream and he interpreted the dream. And he was genuine and truthful, right? He didn't try to hide what was going to happen to either one of them. All right. So in that, right, when the time came, right, and yeah, it was a little time, but the cupbearer would remember him. He would remember his excellent spirit and recommend him to a Pharaoh. Excellence attracts elevation. So you want to become that excellent person before you get the excellent things. You want to manage what you have right now as if it was what you want, right? If the millions, the 100,000, whatever it is that you're looking for. You want to manage that car that you have, or maybe that you're renting, before you get the thing that you so desire. Excellence attracts elevation. So you want to even now create systems that can handle, right, the more than enough that you're going to have. We say we have faith, but we're not preparing for the overflow, right? So we want to start preparing for the overflow. God won't pour more into a vessel that leaks or that doesn't have the capacity to hold what it is he wants to pour. So you need to right now, and those systems may not be computer systems. They might be, you might need to deal with some internal issues in you, right, on the inside, whether it's in that character, spiritual practices, discipline, whatever it is, so that you can handle the overflow, so that you have the capacity or even the endurance for the more than enough. Ask, if God gave you what you're praying for tomorrow, what would your life be ready? If God gave you what you're praying for, would your life be ready? And if not, then what do I need to put in place to be ready? All right? What do I need to do in me to be ready? Build those disciplines in the dark. This is the time, right before the overflow. What you master privately will sustain you publicly. So some of us really, right, need to work on the discipline of prayer. We need to really develop a habit of talking to God on the regular. Some of us. Some of us might need to build the discipline of looking at our bank accounts, of managing our money more effectively. Because even you might say, well, I'm going to have accountants and I'm going to have somebody to deal with all of that. I don't have, let me remind you of the many celebrities that had someone managing their money and still went broke, or still, or got accused of tax evasion and had to go to prison because somebody else was managing. All right. So we want to build those disciplines now, right? That we are in touch with who we are and what we possess, what we are managing. All right. Don't just dream, prepare. Prepare for the next. Prepare for the next. Let me say that again. Prepare for the next. That's what we're doing. We're not going to wait until it gets here. Oh, I'll learn how to do all of that when no, you won't. You want to prepare now. All right. So say to yourself, I'm preparing now for the increase God has already assigned to me. Because there's increase that's already been assigned to you. It requires some preparation. So go ahead, say it to yourself. I am preparing now, today, for the increase God has already assigned to me. All right. And then how do we carry favor with humility and strategy? Deuteronomy 8:10-14 tells us, don't forget the Lord after your increase. After you get the increase of the Lord, after you walk into the promised land and get all the things, don't forget the Lord. And then Luke 14:11 tells us, for all those who exalt themselves will be humbled. Favor is not a flex, it's a responsibility. All right. I just want to remind you, it's not about being seen. Favor is not a flex, it's a responsibility. All right. And so with my favor, how do I serve? Don't let favor pull you into performance mode. Stay rooted in who you are, not just what you've been given. Don't think that you have to become a show off or allow your ego to tell you, you need to flex. You need to show them who you are. Stay rooted in who you are. This is why we need to develop some disciplines now. This is why we need to be self-aware now. This is why we need that development, that character development, that spiritual development now. Because I don't want to become what I think people want to see. I don't want to go into performance mode, right? I don't want to just become who people expect me to be. I want to be who I am and who God called me to be. That begins now. It's because with promotion comes new boundaries. We've got to learn boundaries now. You can't say yes to everyone when God has enlarged your territory now. when he's given you much more to manage, when he's given you much more, many more resources, many more connections, right? You have to have boundaries. And so I've got to learn now my own capacity, how to say yes, how to manage that yes. Remember, we talked about that in a previous episode. How do I manage the yes? And when to say no? And understanding that no is just a response, right? It doesn't have to be a reaction, it's a response. I don't have to explain it, it's a response. Can you do this? No, it's a response. Right. And so we've got to manage and learn boundaries now, because when promotion comes, you'll need to set up some new boundaries. Get in the habit, get in the practice of doing it now. Don't sabotage your next season by mishandling visibility. Listen, you want to be careful who you share your wins with, your dreams with, your plans with. Again, and that's part of boundaries, really. We want to start doing that now. The dreams that you have, I'm not saying you should share them with anybody, but be careful, right? Be led by the Spirit. Trust your instincts. Trust that voice on the inside of you. Sometimes we have people in our circle that haven't fully revealed who they are. You haven't quite seen their full character yet. So I want you to be discerning. You don't share everything with everyone. All right? God doesn't bless you to impress people. He blesses you to impact people, right? To impact purpose. Right? So favor is an assignment. It's not an identity. It's not a flex. It's an assignment. You've been asking for the next level. You've been asking, I'm ready to go higher, Lord. But the question is, are you preparing for that next level? Are you preparing yourself, your character, your spirit, and your spiritual development, your mindset, your schedule, your boundaries? Are you preparing for what you've been praying for? I want you to ask the Holy Spirit that, right? What area of my life needs structure so that I can move to that next level to support the increased responsibility, the increased capacity that's needed? Am I mature enough to handle the weight of promotion? The Spirit will tell you. Am I mature enough? And if I'm not, then what areas, Father, show me, begin to reveal the inner workings of my own self so that I can begin to deal with those areas. And I can tell you, if you've dealt with trauma, if you've dealt with unforgiveness, see, these are barriers that will keep us, that will hold us in position, because we haven't quite yet learned how to respond to those situations. That's a whole other thing we can't get into today. Am I still honoring God now that I have what I once prayed for? Will I still be able to manage my relationship with God when I get the things that I've asked Him for? Do I have disciplines in place? Have I built habits around nurturing that relationship? Favor reveals your capacity to manage responsibility. Favor reveals the level of maturity that you have. Favor reveals stewardship, good or bad, right? Your stewardship habits. All right. Promotion requires preparation, not just desire. It's not enough to just want to be promoted. You've got to prepare for it. And then humility and strategy are keys to sustaining elevation. Listen, thanks for joining me on today. Let me remind you, we have an event coming up on October 11th, the Kingdom Wealth Warriors Summit. I'm excited about it. DebHowardOnline.com. I'd love for you to go check out the registration information and consider making that investment. You will not be sorry. I'm telling you, you will not be sorry. So debhowardonline.com, the Kingdom Wealth Warrior Summit, you can go to that site, click on information about the summit. We have speakers that will be speaking and just plenty of information about what God is going to do on that day. How about that? On our next episode, and it might be our final episode, we're going to talk about stewarding legacy, wealth, wisdom, and generations. Because listen, that's what it's about. We want to leave a legacy because true stewardship doesn't end with you, it multiplies beyond you. Yes, yes. So I hope you've enjoyed this series up to this point for the last couple of weeks. We've been talking about the stewardship mandate and the importance of stewardship, and we've covered a lot of areas. So hopefully you've enjoyed these episodes. And hey, if you're listening today, hey, don't forget to like, comment, and share. I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a comment, send me a DM. I'd love to hear how these episodes are impacting you. Until next time, you know what I'm going to say. Go have your most abundant day. I'll see you soon.